quick. Go live. Alrighty. Hello and happy Thursday. My name is Maggie and I'm here with Purse Strings. Purse Strings is all about providing financial education for women. And this month we are talking about stay-at-home moms. That's what we're kind of wrapping up this month. But we bring all this education, and then when you're ready to go put things in transition or a transaction, we have top tier financial professionals willing, ready, and able to serve you. Those aren't just only financial advisors, but mortgage brokers, attorneys, realtors, CPAs, I'm probably forgetting some more, but we have all those people there for you. We call those our professionals, our Purse Strings approved professionals, and Babita here is one of them. And she is going to be joining us today to talk about the 5 things you should know being a stay-at-home mom. Before we dive into all that fun, Babita, I would love if you could give a little intro of who you are and what you do.
Hi, so I'm Babita Trivedi. I'm a certified financial planner. I focus a lot on women and financial literacy, financial education, and helping them plan for their future. Work with women in all stages of life. I do focus a lot on retirement planning, just given all the scary statistics out there about it. And women going through transitions. And one of the big ones I do come across dealing with the younger crowd is deciding to either stay at home or going back into the workforce or going back into the workforce efficiently. So that's the big one. And
yeah,
looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, it should be really great. We've learned a lot this month, and I'm excited just to go over these 5 things you should really think about before becoming a stay-at-home mom. As mentioned in one of our other videos, it's not always a choice, but if you do have the option and the time to plan, these are some things that you should definitely think through. So let's just get it started. Babita, what's the first thing that people should look at before becoming a stay-at-home mom?
Well, the first one I would say is the most obvious one people do think of first. Can you afford to do it? Like, can you actually survive without the second income? And I think a lot of people's gut reaction, the knee-jerk reaction is, nope, we can't. We're living on both paychecks, so how could we? And that's where the step back in planning helps. You're going, take away your costs of working, the commuting, the clothing. I know it's definitely a big wardrobe difference between staying home and being in the workforce. Lunches out and after work stuff and take away childcare. That's the big one for most of us. It might not be so scary. It might be doable. So the next step comes into look at your budget. There's money coming in, there's money going out. You want to look at exactly where your money's going. It's eye-opening exercise I tell every single one of my clients to do. Do a detail, literally keep track of every dime you spend for a month or 2. And it is absolutely eye-opening. Not saying you have to change anything you do, but it's amazing to see where your money goes. And that's where you can start looking at what can be cut. If it's something that you really do want to do, you do want to be home and you're choosing to, it's possible to make it work just going through those expenses that you can shave off or you're willing to shave off to be at home. And other than that, it's also the biggest thing. If you have the luxury of planning ahead, do it. Take a couple of months while you're working to live on one income and see if it's possible. That's the best way to know if it can happen or not, right?
That's a very smart idea. But like you mentioned, I mean, childcare costs are so expensive. I know that, that could really change a budget. But I could see some other people, if everyone's working, there's a lot of DoorDash or Uber Eats, where if someone's home, you might be able to cook some more meals or different, take, different one for the other and save some money.
Absolutely. Happens a lot.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it myself.
Hey, it happens. We all got to eat, and sometimes it's a long day.
Absolutely.
So what's the second thing people should think through after they kind of assessed if they can afford it?
Second thing I always look at is employee benefits and insurance. So if you're the one who's providing the health insurance for the family, that's something important to look at, because what would it cost to replace that? Do you even have an option to replace? I mean, I guess everyone has an option to go, the healthcare exchanges now, but still, is it affordable? Do you get the right options? Do you get to keep your doctors for your kids? Not everyone's picky, but I feel like most of us get picky with kids' doctors. And along with that, and this applies whether you decide to be a stay-at-home mom or not, life insurance
yes,
is important. Anytime you have anyone depending on you for income or care, you want to have life insurance. So on your, if you do decide to be a stay-at-home mom, definitely on your spouse. They are the one income at that point. And on you, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or working, you want it on yourself because, like I said, childcare is expensive. So if you're not around, your spouse gonna need a lot of money to cover all the stuff you do in the meantime.
Yeah. We
The
just sent
other
one of our newsletters, and it was $180,000 a year would be kind of the salary of a stay-at-home mom.
Absolutely
So if that had to be replaced, you need some life insurance on mom as well.
big time, and it's pet peeve of mine where people are like, "Oh, I don't need insurance. I don't work." Like, you do work. You don't get paid for it. You do work, and it's worth a lot. And replacing that would cost tremendously. There's a reason you took out those childcare costs out of your deciding to stay home part. It's
Right.
expensive.
Exactly. Yeah. Insurance is very important.
The last insurance I like to mention, anyone who's working, disability insurance. It covers, it's insurance on your paycheck essentially. If you cannot work because you're ill or you're hurt, it gives you a paycheck. And that one's always important to me. Again, if you're stay-at-home mom, you will not have that, but whoever does have a paycheck absolutely should. It's ensuring the goose, not the golden egg concept. Every other goal, every other expense you have is funded by that income. Insure it. But deciding all of that, you want to look at the life insurance you would lose if you're on your employee benefits. Make sure you have your own. If you are not insurable for whatever reason, make sure, see if you can find out you can convert the one you have from work into being your own individual policy possibly. And if not, make sure you buy your own insurance before you leave.
So those were three really big insurance policies. First, you got your health insurance, which we all know is a big item to look at. It can be a big cost if you're the one bringing in the health insurance to the family. But then we also want disability insurance and life insurance, especially life insurance on mom because she is worth a lot.
180,000.
What is the third thing people should kind of look at?
Saving for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we leave, a lot of us go, well, we don't have a 401k anymore and I don't have income anymore. So I'm not saving for retirement. And I know I kind of vaguely mentioned all the retirement statistics. That's one of the reasons we have struggles with women in retirement. Partly, yes, the wage gap, which is a broader issue we're not going to, but caregiving, because we take time out of our working careers, work time frame to care for others, and we lose that time frame, one for saving for retirement, so we're not putting money in, and for growth, because if you're not putting it in before that, you're also losing the growth on that amount. And my answer to that usually is you are allowed, even if you are not working, to have a spousal IRA. So make sure, even though you're not working, you're funding your retirement accounts. It's hard. Yes, you just went through the budget of trying to squeak out being able to stay home in the first place. You can put in up to $6,000 a year. I'm sure your spouse is putting in money into their 401k. It's a joint effort. Put something in yours. If you can't do the full 6,000 a year, whatever it is, starting early, even if it's starting small, makes a huge difference in the long run.
Definitely. That's we like to clarify that that's money under your name, which is really important. And that's not only, if, shit hits the fan down the road, but it's also great tax benefit now as well. That way, if you both go into retirement, you're both, living the high life as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and retirement is very important because we leave during some of our prime years, we leave for a while. So that's, our Social Security. Those are getting those bonuses as well and kind of getting up that pay scale. So there's a lot of factors that go into it.
One more comment on Social Security since you brought it up. When you take time off, it essentially lowers your Social Security benefit because it's averaging out years of your income, and now you have zeros being averaged into that number. Another reason to make sure your personal retirement savings are boosted up to make up for the lower Social Security benefit you'd get by not working those few years.
It's wonderful being a woman some days. All right, what are we on now? The
Fourth
one.
Fourth one, college savings is one of the big questions I get as soon as anyone has a kid because It's important. We know it's expensive. Most of us want our kids there. And the whole college cost thing is very controversial right now with loans and if it's worth it or not. But most of us at the end of the day are going to want to save for it, right? It's very important. Same concept as retirement that I just said. The earlier you start, the better it is. You can put in a lot less if you go early because you have more time for growth in the market. So even if it's $25 a month that you can squeak out, making presents from grandparents. This is a nice place to ask for to direct the funds that are coming in from anyone. 529 plans are very, very popular. You are locked into using them for college expenses or higher education expenses without penalties, at least. But it is important. Even if you don't think you're going to save enough to cover college completely, I'm going to throw in a personal note on this one. This is not necessarily for everyone, but one thing that kills me is prioritizing college over your retirement savings. A lot of people do that. We as moms do that all day long, putting the kids before ourselves. But if you have to choose, and ideally you wouldn't have to choose between the two, but we all have limited resources, prioritize your retirement over the college planning, please. Because you can take a loan out to put your kid through college. They can get financial aid. They can take out a loan. Not that I'm promoting student loans here, but there are options for college. There are very little options for retirement. It's either Social Security or you're going to have your savings. Really, that's what you're boiling down to. So if you're going to prioritize, please prioritize your retirement over saving for college if you have to pick.
I'm so glad you brought that up because we hear about this one so many times. And, a parent might expect an ROI from this college education or that their kids will take care of them. But we didn't tell that about the deal at the beginning. Or, and the thing is retirement is now. Going to school can be an option. You could do it now. You could do it later. You don't have to go. And there's, like you said,
your kid's going to go.
Yeah, and there's more resources, but retirement's just going to come and it's going to be there and it's going to be a now thing.
Absolutely. And it is a question I get a lot prioritizing between the two.
Put yourself first, girl. You're number one.
It's something we rarely do, unfortunately. So
it's true. We always compare it to the airplane on the oxygen mask. You have to put on your own oxygen mask before you help anybody else.
I've literally told clients, if it comes down to it and you can afford it at that time, you can touch your retirement account for helping them with college if it really boils down to that. If it makes you feel better in some future planning, think of it that way. Fine.
Right.
But save for yourself first.
Yeah, great. And then what is the fifth thing that people should look at before thinking about being a stay-at-home mom?
Fifth one, it's not technically finance related, but it's more about job related. Going back into the workforce. We talk about all the cost of being a stay-at-home mom. And it's not just X amount of salary times X amount of years, because we also lose raises and opportunities for promotion. And most importantly, if you are out of the workforce, going back in, not at the same level. A lot of people are going back in lower than where they left off. And that's one of the bigger impacts of not staying employed, especially if you're in a field with an upward trajectory and you're taking that break, you tend to fall behind, not even start where you left off and lose the growth, but also just fall behind. So sort of having a plan for going back and staying employable or staying at the level you were at. That could mean, look, if you're leaving the workforce for 20 years, I don't think a lot of what I'm saying is going to make too much of a difference. It's much harder to mitigate that. In a sense, you're going to be a different person. You're going to be you will be starting from scratch, not in a skill set way, but more on a what do you want to do way. So I'm talking more to you're home until they're in school and settled in type of thing. If you're taking a 5, 6, 7-year break kind of thing, that's where keeping that goal of you will be going back in mind as you spend your time home. I have been accidental stay-at-home mom. I have been a full-time working mom. I have I've been a student mom, I've done part-time work, and I've done my own business as well. So I've seen it in all ways. We all work like crazy no matter what. So this is not putting that down. And by no means is it reducing everything we do as parents. Motherhood on the resume, I'm all for it. It's great. I know LinkedIn had that whole thing going for a while. There's no reason to shy. I think the awkwardness is gone. I took a break to be home. But what value do you bring still comes into play. So the big things I always keep in mind for the softer, keep your skills sharp, stay engaged, stay involved with it. So I always go with softer skills. You're looking at any kind of opportunities for leadership roles. Your kids are in school, the PTA, or if they're not in school yet, nonprofits you're involved with, community organizations, professional associations, because even though you're not working, if you're staying engaged in them, take those leadership opportunities. It's also a nice break to get out of the house. Adult time, mental engagement time, because as wonderful as it being with those 2 3-year-olds, there's a certain lack of mental engagement that kicks in. And then if you're in a technical career, especially ones with skills change quickly, anything tech related, anything health related, try to stay on top of it. Courses, keeping up with your certificate, getting new certifications if possible. Take a course here or there. Keep up with continuing education. If you have professional associations, stay involved, stay engaged, stay within those networks, because when you are going back to work, that network will be your help in getting back in.
Those are great tips because, leaving, and I just think about how much technology just grows and grows every year. And so if you are behind a little bit, you can really get lost in the waves. But it also seems like an opportunity to keep your sense of self and have some sanity and some, hopefully if you love the work that you do, it kind of keeps you back on, of being an adult and doing something and not watching the alphabet on TV.
Absolutely. Like I said, I've done it every which way. Full-time stay-at-home mom was definitely challenging on that for a while. That's kind of where I switched to the student side. I was changing careers, so it turned into a perfect opportunity to do both. I was lucky enough to have support where I could do both. That matters. But it's engagement. Or if you are looking for a career change, if you hated what you were doing before, and that's always a great reason to get out and be home, it's a good incentive for most, that's a great time to start exploring what you do want to do and getting the skills to get toward it.
These have all been really great tips today. Starting to think if you should stay at home, what kind of things you should check into, what you should be funding, and how to really plan for the future as well, both short-term and long-term. So before we wrap up, do you just want to run through the top 5 real quick?
Sure. First one was budgeting and making sure you can afford to stay home with one income. Second one was insurance, health insurance if you're the one providing it, life insurance for both parents, and disability for anyone who's working. The third one was saving for retirement, spousal IRAs, even if you're not working. We had college plus savings, so 529 plans, funding, but not at the cost of your retirement. And staying employable, keeping yourself sharp, whether it's being involved in leadership roles or any kind of education.
Awesome. Well, I think this has been a great wrap up to our stay-at-home mom month. We've had so much education about it, and it's been really great. Stay-at-home moms are just amazing, but we want to make sure that their retirement and their future is also properly funded, and they are prepared for that as well. So thank you, Babita, for coming on. If anyone has questions, you could reach out to her. Her email's sliding through the bottom here. She's also one of our Purse Strings approved professionals, so you can check her out on our site, pursestrings.co. And we will be back here next month talking all things debt. It's going to be more fun than it sounds. So until then, have a great week. Bye.